Hey guys, I wanted to go over a topic of consciousness and unconsciousness and how those are related to pain and why it's important to be cognizant of this kind of stuff. All right, so we know that when we're conscious, that is, we are fully present and engaged in each moment of our life. And this means that we're in the here and now. And this conscious realization of the here and now really is about being fully aware, meaning that you are aware of your body. You can feel your feet on the ground. You can feel your weight sitting on your sits bones in your butt. You can feel how your back is either leaning to one side or the other. And you can sense where your body is at in regards to its pain levels. And being cognizant and really aware of where that pain or discomfort's actually happening. So instead of having a general broad, my back hurts, it might be I'm hurting right above my iliac crest on the left side. So it's important to become consciously aware of our bodies, but consciousness also involves our minds and being able to consciously focus on what's happening now. What do you have in front of you? If you're driving down a highway, freeway, being conscious of the people around you. So consciousness takes its form in all sorts of ways in our life, whether it's the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit, the emotional aspect of us. But the unconsciousness is really all of that stuff that happens in our lives that's behind the scenes, the things that we take for granted in our lives because we don't ever think about it. And these also include thoughts and feelings, movements and behaviors that happen without us even knowing it. And the unconsciousness really is about energy conservation. And the body uses the unconscious behavior patterns and feelings and movements and thoughts and all of that. It develops a pattern of how to be in that moment, and it reinforces that pattern so that it becomes second nature, such as walking. In order to walk, we had to start developing a pattern of this is how we shift our weight, this is how we start to lean forward and get our momentum moving, this is how we start picking up our foot and swing our leg through and then take the next step and shift our weight forward. So it's about not having to put the energy into thinking about the pattern so that we can do it without having to think about it, so we can be conscious in something else. Ever gone for a walk and done a walking meditation? That is pattern of unconscious being able to walk and not think about it so that you can focus on the meditation at hand. It's very similar to that. So the unconsciousness allows us to multitask between the unconscious habits of, say, walking and the conscious aspects of reading or reviewing our grocery list or driving on the freeway. When it comes to discomfort or pain of any type, the body does the same thing. It begins to learn a whole slew of new patterns in order to find comfort or seek relief from the pain or the discomfort that we're having. And physically, we may see this in things such as how we stand, what our posture looks like, what our gait looks like. Have we developed a limp? It might be that. It might be that when you're walking, your leg gets kind of thrown out to the side and brought back around in a circular pattern versus coming straight through from front to back. We also know that these changes are seen in all of the aspects of your life, mentally and emotionally. Think about a time when maybe you've had ruminating thoughts or worrying thoughts. A way of getting away from the pain is focusing on something else. Maybe unexplained sour mood, even though you have no reason to not be happy. you have lots of things to be grateful for. You might just be in a sour mood. It might just, something might be going on for you that you're not fully aware of. And sometimes it's that stuff that's unconscious that involves old stuff, ways of getting away from pain, ways of seeking comfort. Socially, this may be where we start to pull back from engaging in family and friend activities and going out and doing things, always feeling like we have to put on a happy face to go out even though we're struggling and want to break down in tears. Maybe getting pressured into activities or other behaviors that you know are going to cause you pain, but you try to go through it anyway. We may see these changes in patterns involve in your spirituality, such as losing hope or trust in your higher power. Now, the general person may be saying, well, this is a good thing, right? The body finds a way to get away from pain, to seek comfort and to conserve energy and do all of this stuff. And the answer in many instances is, of course, it's a good thing. This is called adaptation. This is how our bodies do it. But the issue really revolves around how our bodies and our brains begin to develop patterns, reinforce patterns, so that when we're dealing with things like chronic pain, our bodies find ways to cope with that and find relief. But the problem is that a lot of times relief has its own consequences. So let's put an example together. Been to the grocery store and seen people leaning on their carts, almost like they're using their cart to help them walk, like a walking device. Now, if you look at them, what we know is that they, probably more on a subconscious level than an unconscious level, have figured out that by going to the store that it increases their pain. And that if they lean on the cart, they have less pain. So they're seeking comfort through leaning on the cart. And that trial and error of trying to figure out if every time I go to the store I'm in pain, maybe if I limp, maybe if I walk with a little bit of a sideways turn, or if I lean on the cart. So that's where the patterning comes in. The body's trying to figure out how to find that comfort. It finds it by leaning on the cart. And so now we don't have to put as much energy into holding ourselves upright, into making sure that our gait is straight, because we're using the cart to stand or to lean on, which means that we have less backache overall. The problem is that every time these people go to the store and they repeat this kind of pattern, suddenly 6 months goes by and they suddenly realize, they have a moment of consciousness that they're not standing as upright as they used to, and their posture seems to be a little hunched over. They may suddenly realize that they need the cart to go to the store now. It's not just I'd like to see if I can get a cart. Now it's, I need a cart to do my grocery shopping. And then maybe in another 6 months, maybe a year, these same people may suddenly find themselves having to use the ride carts instead of being able to walk through the store. So finding relief, finding comfort is a double-edged sword, because you may get momentary relief from what's happening with the back pain, but you may be calling long-distance consequences to come into your life unknowingly. So we know that patterning works by finding the path of least resistance in our body, the path that doesn't create a lot of energy usage, the path that's easy to remember and to reinforce, to get away from this discomfort, to conserve the energy in order for us to do a multitask, unconscious and conscious habit, walking through the store, actually grocery shopping and reviewing our list. So when it comes to low back issues, comfort has consequences. And when these consequences start getting to the point where walking anymore, or the thought of actually going to the store is causing issues, or you're starting to adopt a terrible posture, maybe a hunched over posture, and it's causing ankle and knee and hip problems, or if you start checking out of life mentally just to escape the agony, those are patterns that you're starting to develop for a reason. The truth is, when we're finding comfort from pain, it's really like a noose around your neck. And what we know is when we start getting comfortable in our pain, we fail to have the consciousness to realize we're suffering far greater than we ever realized. It's a little bit like the frog that's in the slow to boil pot of water. He doesn't realize he's in trouble until the conscious thought comes way too late and suddenly we have frog legs for dinner. So by following the path of least resistance, we're inviting comfort consequences into our life, which can end up giving us more than we ever bargained for. Thankfully, we can teach our bodies and our brains new ways to deal with this without having to deal with the noose tightening around our necks. And that's by working on bringing old patterns back into consciousness. So bringing the unconscious into consciousness so that you can start breaking those patterns and practicing and putting new patterns into place to replace the old ones. So the next time you have the thoughts of, is this all there is for me? Why can't I just get out of pain? Or this seems much worse than it ever was a year ago. When you suddenly have a thought of consciousness about what your situation actually is and wondering how you got here and how you get out of this, then don't let that noose tighten around your neck. Have the courage when those conscious thoughts of your situation reveal that you're worse off than what you thought you were. Have the courage to want more from your current situation and be willing to do whatever it takes to find out what that more means for you. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please visit our Facebook group page at the Healthy Back Program. You'll find lots of videos from the program and resources to help you help yourself. Until next time.